everyone, I'm Mandy, and welcome to As the Walker Turns. This is our saga of senior living, and I'm here today with Jared. And he's going to be asking a few questions about why we're doing this podcast and how it pertains to senior living and the guidebook and all of those good things.
So is this like a slow roll relative to As the Walker Turns?
Yes, pun intended. Definitely a slow roll. Yes.
So why are we here? Why do you want to do this? Like, explain the passion and the why for what you're trying to accomplish with this podcast.
Well, I think after 19 years in senior living, I have a lot of insight and stories to tell, whether you're looking for your own loved one, which I'm currently in the process of doing, or operating a community, working in a community, building a community, all the stories with the residents. I think there's a misperception with the general public about what we do and the lives that we impact. And so I'm here to just try and educate and talk about what really you can expect if you're looking for yourself or someone else living in a senior living.
So you talk. Look, I have to open this up now because you tossed it out there. Yeah, but like obviously the tables have to have been turned from the standpoint of looking for a place for your mom.
Yeah.
Because it's now the shoe's on the other foot. You're not the professional.
Yeah.
This has become personal. So what is how has that changed your perspective or your outlook on all of that?
I think everything. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and so oftentimes when you're looking at a community, it's not always is it an issue of the residents feeling comfortable, but the children or the extended family getting comfortable with this decision. And definitely with my siblings, we all have different. The good thing is we're all on the same page. We want to take care of my mom, but how we're going to go about that is varied, to say the least. So I think they're leaning in a little bit on me because of my senior living expertise, but it's personal. And when I'm making phone calls and in my email inquiries to, find just some basic information, it is certainly eye-opening in terms of, what we try to do here in our communities versus expectations with other communities.
So walk me through some of the good versus the bad of what you've seen there. Well, not to disparage anyone, but just to give a flavor of what is out there so people know what to experience as they're walking through that themselves.
Yeah. I've actually been looking for 2 different people. One, my grandfather, and also for my mother in 2 different states. One is in a very large market, and the other one is in a smaller kind of tertiary market. And so I would say that the response time in the smaller market has been better. So when I call, I am prefacing, so I'm telling the communities like, look, I'm in senior living. I'm going to ask you some questions that are going to sound really strange, but just heads up, Google me.
Not the average question.
No, not the average conversation. And they're like, oh, okay. But just, I've been shocked with, they want my name, my phone number, and my email address. Not really asking questions like, why are you calling senior living? It's not like I'm looking for a new car. Mm-hmm. This is a very big decision for our family, not only for my mom long-term, but financially, this is going to have a huge impact on her. So I guess I was expecting more in terms of the discovery and the why I'm there today. And I didn't really feel like I got that from everyone. I got that from at least one place. And then the follow-up, like I would expect if I'm calling as someone who's looking for potentially the next, couple of months, they would follow up with me in a timely manner, say, hey, how's your search going? Do you need some more help? Did you get the brochure that I sent? Some of the communities in the bigger market didn't even send me brochures. Some of them never have followed up with me. And so for me, that's going to be like, I have my list, and that's going to be the first thing. If you didn't respond to my phone call, my email, you didn't do what you said you were going to do, how do I know you're going to take care of my mom?
Right.
So that was a little eye-opening.
It's creating that baseline of, quite frankly, care.
Just basic customer service. Can you do the basics for an industry expert? And if that's a no, you're off the list.
So obviously, it comes through in everything that you just said, but you have a great deal of passion for this industry. What created that? Walk me through how that all came about from start to finish, because I know it's a long story.
Okay, well, it's slow, right?
We got to keep it up here.
Okay, all right.
Maybe pick it up a little bit towards the end.
Okay, all right.
Let's have a little
time is of the essence. So I was exposed to senior living in fifth grade. I'm from Montana originally, and so they had adopted senior for an entire year. And the only reason I was really interested in it is they said they were going to get a free T-shirt. So like, oh, I'm in. You know,
we're good to go.
I'm getting the T-shirt at the end of this. And then we just had more and more interactions with those residents. And at the time, it was I guess they would call it a nursing home or a skilled nursing. I had no idea. It was in fifth grade what the difference was, and I just really connected with those residents and just felt like it was a really special opportunity for me and for them. And then, I kind of grew up, and when I was working, I was able to volunteer with Meals on Wheels for a few years and found a whole different side of seniors and their needs, low income, in their homes. And then from there, we started a business, my husband and I, and then I decided I wanted to go back and do something different. I'd worked in medical software for a long time, and I was like, I want to do something different. I saw an ad for an office manager position at a really small senior living community near where I live. And when I interviewed for it, and when I say small building, like there was no office for the office manager, okay? Like I'm sitting at the front desk, answering phones, processing payroll, residents, like I don't even know what I was thinking. Anyway.
You were doing it all. You saw it all.
Pretty much. It's like Grand Central Station at this building. So anyway, I did that for probably about 6 months, and I kept seeing the executive directors get quite frankly fired.
Minor details.
Small. And I got approached like 2 different times, and they were like, Mandy, please come run the building. Please come run the building. I'm like, no, I'm just going to get fired. What are you like? I'm fine here. So I finally decided, okay, I'm going to take the leap of faith. I took the job, and I ran that community successfully for 4 years. And then I had the opportunity to take on a larger community. It was also, let's just say, challenge. I did that for opportunities.
We had a little squeaky wheels on the walker.
Yeah, maybe some wheels not on the walker. It was a bit of a mess. Anyway, I went over there, I fixed that community, and then I had actually asked my boss at the time. I said, I want to be a regional. That sounds like fun. I have no idea what this means, but like, give me the job. Oh, yeah, that was smart. And then I did regional work and divisional work for, oh my goodness, I want to say probably 10 years. Wow. I'd have to look at my past history, probably a good decade. And that gave me the opportunity to manage like a portfolio of maybe 5 buildings up to over 30 buildings. Lots of different types of communities, low end, high end. I got to develop some communities from the ground up during that time, or do major remodels. So I kind of got my fingers into a lot of different areas, which was really good to kind of like further my career. And then after that, I had an opportunity to go work for an actual owner and developer. And at the time, we were getting ready to build a very, very large campus in Colorado. And so I took the leap and I went to work for them. And so I now have been able to not only work on the development side, get the financing for the building, operating the buildings, and then seeing the view of this from the owner side. And it's been, I feel like at this point, a pretty well-rounded overview of senior living. So I'm grateful for that.
From answering the phones to building the building.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in between.
Everything in between, yes. Yes.
So given that career, you have to have a couple of memorable stories.
So many.
Yes. I mean, just pick one randomly out of the hat or out of the walker. I'm not picky.
Out of the walker basket.
Exactly. I mean, the puns are going to.
Oh my goodness. Staff stories, resident stories.
Your pick.
Oh, let's think. I think we can. The residents at the end of the day are the biggest kind of X factor. We never know on a given day what they're going to do. I had a community years ago where there was a resident that was had been placed in memory support, and we had the physician's orders and everything that said that this was the diagnosis, this is the correct placement, but the resident was very with it, like lucid, like I'm not seeing what the doctor is seeing here. And it ended up turning out that the resident was there under false pretenses. Let's just say that the family had another agenda for this resident's finances. Okay, so they thought, putting him in memory support was going to solve this issue. Well, unknowns to us and to the family, he had a laptop and he could Google, so he managed to plan his great escape. And oh, and did he ever? Oh my
I mean, this
Lord.
is movie worthy.
Yeah, yes, I would say this whole industry is a reality show waiting to happen. But anyway, he planned his great escape, and he managed to, because he was very young, he looked like like a son, and so he walked out as a very confident son of a visitor, of a resident. Managed to go to the convenience store down the street, bought himself a burner phone, pulled out a bunch of cash, managed to call himself an Uber to the airport, where he then booked a flight.
Out of the country, or was it state?
I think it was domestic, so that was great.
It could have added a little.
Yeah, it could have been an international issue at that point. Did a couple costume changes, so that he was kind of disguising his,
He thought this out.
Yes, he certainly did. And at that point, of course, we realized the resident was gone, so police and everything were involved. Luckily, they were able to notify the airports, and we were able to bring him back. But what could you do at that point? He's clearly lucid, so we needed to find a different place,
Right.
for him to reside, whether it was assisted living or back in his own home.
Right.
Quite frankly, he could
It was like fine.
He was totally fine. There was no injury, and I kind of applaud him for his creativity. He waited until he was ready to make the move, and I will never forget him.
So, obviously pivoting back here to your own experiences, but obviously leaning in on everything that you've seen in your career. Let's say you're having a conversation with a family that is getting ready to go through this new change or new chapter in life. And you were just giving them advice on, hey, one or two things, keep these top of mind.
Yeah.
And I know every case is different, whether it's memory support, assisted living, independent living. There's so many differing variables that occur in that life experience. But are there a couple of recommendations that for you really stand out as folks navigate this next chapter in life?
Yeah, I would say it really the decision needs to be, look, it's a multifaceted decision. Finance comes into it, location comes into it. If you have siblings in multiple states, like who's going to take primary responsibility? But at the end of the day, what's in the best interest of your loved one? It can't be about you. It really needs to be about what long term. Is this something that is going to stick until end of life, or is this something that you're looking as a temporary fix? Because once residents typically get adjusted, that's usually it's the last place they're going to be. So I think taking your personal preferences out of things it is critically important in making sure that your loved one is first and foremost. And I think the next thing is setting expectations. Just because someone moves into senior living doesn't mean like all things are going to be perfect. It's not as if you walk into a community and no one ever falls, or there's not a burnt chicken meal, or I don't know, mom's moo gets lost. I don't know. It's just like your own house, like things happen. And so I think that it's important to just understand that you're coming into a time in people's lives where, maybe it's the last couple of years. And what is this going to look like? Is it going to be a strong ending, meaning the family is united with the resident and with the community? Or is this going to be a situation where it's fraught with guilt and resentment, and, you're coming in with kind of like that glass half full, or you're looking to find fault? You can walk into any community and find fault, but you can also walk into a community and find all the amazing things that happen. And if that's your mindset, is like, I'm coming in to visit mom today, or we're going to go have a great day, whether they're in memory support or not, if that's the attitude that you're walking in, like I'm here to find the positive, then I think it just completely changes your entire outlook, and it makes for a peaceful, content resident. And I think that's what everybody wants at the end of the day. You don't want this experience to be bitter and hateful.
So what's in store for us in the future? to listeners of as the walker turns.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, where's the walker headed?
Off a cliff? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think there's a lot that we can talk about. There's a lot of, I really want to focus in on families and kind of navigating how to find the right senior living community and how to navigate the move-in process and, what care really looks like. I think if it evolves and this thing gets, some legs behind it, we can talk about if you want to work in a community, like what does that really look like? What can your career path look like? If you want to own a community, you ready for that? Buckle up. Like, let's talk like real life about what it means to own one of these bad boys.
Because there are going to be some ups and downs.
Yeah. So that's a whole different conversation. If you want to build one, it's more than just having a piece of land and grandma and some money. That you need to be in it for the long haul and have a lot of resilience and finances to back it up. So I think it could go a lot of different ways. Maybe bring in some people in and talk about their experiences and what how they've navigated it through, because everyone's different, but hopefully just provide some insight and some context for to some people it's a very scary and very difficult decision. So knowing you've got an expert industry kind of insider in here walking me through it, because I'm going through it myself. I think we can have some good honest conversations.
So as we wrap things up for today, you mentioned at the beginning, and I know one of the next things we're going to unpack is the guidebook. So as we wrap it up, tease that out a little bit for us as to what that is, what drove you to do it.
I don't know what drove me to do it. I was on vacation and I just said, I didn't write a book. I guess. I don't know what happened, but I just felt like I needed to get this out, if that makes any sense to anyone. And it's not long. It's like less than 40 pages, but it really just summarizes from step to step, like, where do I even search for something like this, to all the way to the move out process and everything in between, and what you should be looking for. How am I going to pay for this? That's such a huge driving factor for people. Is there additional funding, or what are the different types of care? Because sometimes senior living gets lumped into one bucket when it's very different. Like if I look at different types of restaurants, like a pizza place is different than a taco place. Okay,
right.
So we all have our own individual niches and really what is in the best interest of the resident and the family. So that was the intent behind it. It's short, it's meant to be concise, it's meant to provide a couple of checklists, and there's no judgment. Like if you want to just skip in and get to the answers, fine, do that. It's just meant to help anybody that needs it.
Awesome. Well, we hope you enjoyed this first episode of As the Walker Turns, and taking a few minutes to learn from Mandy's insights, and hope that you will join us in the future.
Thank you.